Good morning, everybody. How are you today? So, people who are online, please keep yourself muted. And someone please join from here. To who is joining on team? Yeah, please join in team so that if there is disconnection, please let me know. Okay. What is your name, please? Can you please come forward and join in team? Join in the team meeting and let me know. I like to at least 2 people to join in team. And if at any point if there is a disconnection, please let me know. Okay. Just I'm trying to share it virtually also. Okay, so online people, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. And can you see my screen?
We can.
Okay, thank you so much. So unless there is something very urgent, I will not be going to interact with online people. But if you have any question, you can comment under my lecture video on YouTube, or you can email me. Okay, so first of all, let us start with our schedule. So this is we are August, the first week of August, right? So we will start module 3, but I have a little bit something skipped in module 2. I will go there and then I will start module 3 today. And this week and next week, entire next week, we will discuss module 3, especially selection structure. If, else, else if, switch, case, those, okay? And later that we will discuss a repetition structure, for loop, while loop, do while, another 2 weeks. So you see that test 1 is coming, that will cover module 1 to 3. Okay, so whatever we will discuss until this week and next week, that will be in your test 1. Okay, and test 1 will be on September 12, 14 and 15, and the date is fixed. Okay, but time is not fixed yet, so then we will discuss. I will let you know. Okay, but prepare for the test, for the first test. And as I discussed that our test policy, there is no makeup if you miss a test. But if you miss a test, your final exam will automatically compensate that. And if you take all tests, then your lowest test grade will be replaced by your final exam test. Final exam grade, if your final exam grade is better. Okay, if your final exam grade is the lowest one, then nothing will happen. Okay, so I like everybody to take the test, all tests. Okay, so from this, actually this week we will be preparing for our test also. Okay, anyone has any question about test? Okay, in earlier at least 1 or 2 semesters, I found some students that they said, oh, there is a test. I did not know that. We discussed, we uploaded this schedule from the very beginning, week 1. Okay, but if you still ignore this announcement and then like this schedule, then I'm sorry, I have nothing to do. Okay, so let us go to our slides. Okay, maybe one thing I skipped over here, either module 2, part 1 or 2 or 3, somewhere maybe I missed. Let me see. I skipped one thing. Okay, we discussed data type, right? So the languages we are discussing here, C++, C# and Java, these are static type binded. So in order to declare a variable, you must declare its type first. Okay, this is called type binding. But there are some languages like Python, Scala, F sharp. Those languages do not require to declare the type first whenever you declare a variable, but whenever you assign its value for the first time, it will get its type automatically. Those are called dynamic type binding. Okay. Okay. So here we will. I skipped this slide. Okay, this is a very important slide. Okay, everybody. Everybody. Please give attention for the next 10 minutes. Okay. Yeah. Please shut down your phone. Yeah, please shut down your phone and please give us attention for this. Okay, explicit typecasting. That means if it says explicit typecasting, that means there is something implicit, right? There is also implicit typecasting. Okay, so I can say maybe implicit and explicit typecastings. Okay. So explicit typecasting is that. Okay, let me tell about implicit. Implicit means sometimes we can convert one data to another data type. That happens automatically. But sometimes it does not happen automatically. In that case, we need to force. We need to force to convert one type of data to another type. The way is called explicit typecasting. The way is little bit different language to language, but this is the format. You need to put which data type you want to convert. Okay, for instance, you have an expression over here, or that may be a constant value or any expression. Okay, that will give you a data value. And if you want to convert its existing data type to another data type, then you need to put that data type within double quote, within parentheses. Okay, for instance here, so result is a double type variable, right? Result is a double type variable. So in case we are explicitly, so these two values are integer type, the 25 integer and 3 also integer, right? So 25 by 3 is, what is the result? 25 by 3. Yeah, can you please help me, please? Yeah, I like this class to be interactive. So please help me. What is the value of 25 divided by? I'm sorry. So we know that 25 divided by 3 equal to this one, right? Equal to 8.33, right? 8.33, blah, 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 good. Okay. But if we do just integer division, if we do not use this typecasting, then your result will be only 8. It will not count this value after the decimal point, including decimal point. Okay. But because the reason is that I discussed in our previous lecture, in order to get an integer or decimal value, one of the either numerator or denominator, at least one or both, needs to be decimal, right? So both integer, right? So result will give us integer. So result will be given integer. So we need to convert it, force it to make it double. You understand? And then, so this is called typecasting, and this will enforce on the fly, and this enforcement is temporary. It's not permanent. Okay, so this is called typecasting. Okay, for instance, something here, see we have a total and then we have count, so same thing. Okay, so anyone has any question? Let us remember for this, okay, the type two things. Okay, typecasting is required when we want to convert one data type to another type, and the typecasting is temporary, it is not a permanent. Okay, and it happens on the fly. Okay, these 3 points, just remember this. Okay, let us see an example. Okay, do you see my screen? Okay, so this is our main method. So I have a variable y. Okay, for instance, if so here, okay, I'm sorry, so here y, so this is my value, right? So the result, for instance, let me print this out without casting it. So then it is straightforward, right? Our y will be both numerator and denominators are decimal, so our y will be decimal value. So y equal to 5. 50 divided by 10, 5, right? Okay, but if I want to make it so this 5 is 5.0 is a decimal point, it's a double. Okay, if I want to make an integer value, that means only 5. Okay, maybe it would be better if I got 55.5, right? If I put 50.55, then our result will be 5.5, understand? 5.5, right? So now, so this is 5.5. Okay, now if I want to convert this y into an integer number, so this is the statement, I put integer int y, so then it will, this is the output for this statement. Okay, so our result will be 5. You know why it is 5 over here, not 5.5? Because I enforce this y to be an integer value, right? So when I say 5.5, this the decimal point and the next the part decimal point will be truncated. Even if I say 59.10, so is anyone enforcing my pointer? So please do not interrupt me, please. Even if say 559, so some people may guess that it will be 6. No, so the result will be I'm sorry, I don't see why my cursor is not going there. It is interrupting me. Okay, so let me do this here. 59. So I was working with this one, right? 59 point. Okay, so int y equal to 5. So even here y equal to 5.9, then int y equal to 5. Okay, now if you understand this, this is called typecasting. Even now if I print y again here, so then what will be printed? 5 or 5.9? That is the question. So it will be still printing 5.9 original value, because this casting on the line number 9, okay, was temporary. Okay, line number 9, this casting was temporary. So even if I print over here, then on line number 10 still it will be printing 5.9. Okay, now let us see this statement. So I say int g equal to 20 divided by 2, okay, modulo 4. So what will be my g value? So it will first, so the division operator has highest precedence, so it will make 20 divided by 2 equal to 10 modulo 4 equal to 2, right? So it will print z equal to 2. Now if I convert, so this is a g equal to, I'm sorry, why is my mouse is not moving there. Okay, so this line it will print g equal to 2, but if I want to convert it to float, then it will print g equal to 2.0, and if I print g as double, then still it will make 2.0. Okay, now let us see another example. So there are two kind of casting. It is called up casting and down casting. Okay, now this is the point. Everybody, maybe it may be difficult for you, but if you give attention, you will understand this. Okay, so see I have few variables. I have number variables n1, n and n1, and I have an integer variable 5, and I have double 2.5. By the way, these are the called wrapper class. You will understand later this wrapper class, but you see that integer, so a number, integer, double, we use the class name. These are built-in data type, not primitive data type. Okay, these number, integer and double, these are not primitive data type, these are built-in data, so these are class type. Okay, so upcasting, that means putting double and integer to number. Okay, so upcasting means, let me give you an example. The concept is like, okay, so for instance, these are my whole number. So I'm drawing a bar chart. For instance, these are my whole number. Maybe real number. Everyone understand real number? From infinity, negative infinity to positive infinity. Okay. So in the real number system, there are some numbers that are integer, right? There are some numbers that are integer, right? So these are integer numbers. And there are some numbers that are maybe decimal number. Okay, decimal numbers. Okay, and in the decimal numbers, there are some numbers that are float. There are some numbers that are double, right? And similarly, in integer number, there are some number prime numbers, there are some numbers like positive numbers, there are some numbers negative numbers, there are some numbers even, there are some number words, right? We can make many more classification like this. Okay, you understand? Now let us think about this. Okay, so if we draw a bar chart or draw a chart, so let us see that. For instance, we see that all numbers, this is my question, are all numbers integer number? No, right? Are all numbers decimal numbers? Are all numbers decimal numbers? No. But if I ask other question, are all integer numbers? Yes, right? Are all decimal numbers? Yes, right? Are all float numbers? Yes, right? So that means, so when we go, there are two type of casting. There are two types of casting. One is called up casting, another is called down casting. Okay. Okay, so one is called upcasting, another called is downcasting. Upcasting means you make an arrow from bottom to up. You ask a question that are all integer numbers are numbers? You will get the answer yes, right? Always yes, right? So that means there is no issue if we do upcasting. Upcasting is automatic. Okay, but if we ask a question, are all numbers integer numbers? No. There are some numbers that are integer, but not all, right? So that is called downcasting. Okay, so that downcasting is not guaranteed, right? But upcasting is guaranteed. Okay, so downcasting is not guaranteed, but upcasting is guaranteed. You understand this way? So if you remember this figure, then you will understand. Okay, so downcasting, this is called downcasting. So you understand this way. This is called downcasting, and this is up, right? So if you remember that this is up arrow, and this is down. So downcasting is not guaranteed, but upcasting is guaranteed. So that means upcasting, that means putting double or integer number, okay, converting double or integer to a number is happen automatically, but because an integer number is already a number, there is no issue. Okay, but other way is difficult. So in order to make upcasting, it is easy, but downcasting is something difficult. So it sometimes make an error when we make to double castings. Okay, let us see this statement, these two lines of statement. This, you see that this program runs automatically, it does not have any error. But if we want to see here these two statements, for instance, let us try to do this. Okay, you see that there is an error over here. Let me explain the error. If you give attention, close attention, then you will understand this. Okay, so here what I'm doing, so let me explain what I'm trying to do. For instance, what do I have? I have numbers n1, n and n1 are numbers, right? Okay, and I have I is an integer number, d is a double number. Okay, so what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to say I equal to number. That means I, okay, and I put is a number. So here there will be a type mismatch. So for instance, I is my integer number, right? It should have a value of integer value. But for our number, it has some double and it has some integer, and then it has some float value. So there is no guarantee that I will get an integer type. So there is a type mismatch. So it cannot convert a number to an integer. So there will be an error over here. And similarly over here, my n1 is a number, right? I cannot assign a number to a double, because I don't know whether my number is a double or an integer. So, but if I do this, then my statement will be fine. What I am doing over here, I am enforcing numbers to convert to integer, and I am enforcing my n1 converting to double. That means what I am doing over here is something. For instance, here I have my number, okay, and I am converting this number to an integer. That means I am shrinking the set. Okay, so my n is an element of number, real number, right? It could be an integer, it could be a double, or it could be a float, right? But I am enforcing it to be an integer. How do I do that? This by writing this typecasting statement. Okay, and if I want to convert it to double, enforce it to double, this is the way to double. Then if I do this, then my program will run without any. If I do this, so do this is the difference between this line and this line. It has no typecasting, but it has typecasting. Okay, so we saw that there are two errors, right? The two errors came from this line and this line. So I like you to read the error statement later. Okay, but if I do this, that means then my program will not make any complaint. It will work. So this is a little bit higher level thought. So my program is over here. Later, if you do not understand this, try to run this program again and again, and at least at some point you should understand. Everybody has any question? Anybody has any? Yes. Sorry. Reality will tell you. So, according to your problem will tell you that whether you should use a double type or float type. So, as we have seen that if we make an integer type, right? So, we will get the whole number. So, for instance, if I have a number 59, and if I make it divide equally by 10 people, if I have $59, and if I divide it into among 10 people, right? What I can do, I can give everybody $5, then I can keep $9 in my pocket, right? Then if everybody becomes happy, then I'm happy, right? But if nobody is happy, everybody says, no, I should get 90 cents more, right? Everybody should get 90 cents more, right? Then I need to make it double. So the problem will tell you, right? When you become expert, then you program. When you understand the problem, then you will understand that what different are doing. Sometimes, for instance, but for more accuracy, for instance, in one word, you can understand that we need to typecasting temporarily, especially for more accuracy, right? More accurate value. Anyone has any other question? You understand? For instance, here, if you divide 59 by 10, if you are happy with 5, then no problem. But if you are not happy with 5, then you need to do typecasting. Understand? Okay, so this is like critical, especially if you play with this program. Okay. Some languages, for instance, C++ does not have integer. So play with this C++ in C#. If you find any issue in converting this program in C++ and Java, let me know. Or if I get time, I will convert it to other languages. This is not a big deal to convert. Okay, almost the conversion is same in C++, in Java and C#. But C++ may have a little bit discrepancy. I will check and then we'll see. Okay, that's it. I skipped this part. Let's see. It's not a problem. Oh. Okay, then another thing that array, 1D array and string, I skipped. I could not complete this in our last lecture. Okay, so you will learn array later in this, maybe after 2 or 3 weeks later. Okay, but for now we are also using array from our very beginning. For instance, you see that we say in our main method we declare string, this is an array. args, args, this is my variable name, and this variable is an array type. So how do I remember that this is an array? Just whenever you see a square bracket, okay, after some name and a different name, whenever you see a square bracket, you may see something within the square bracket or do not see something, okay, but our symbol is that identity symbol is a square bracket, then this is an array. So everybody is familiar with this string, right, from the C# and Java program. So this string is an array of, actually this args is an array of string type. So if you do upper level program, maybe by the end of this course I will show you how to use these args, but that is afterthought, it's not needed for now. So this is an array. So what is an array? An array is a set or a list of numbers, similar numbers. So what is a set or a list? You know what is a set, right? A set is a collection of similar items, right? Like set of some students, set of some animals, set of some tools, right? Set of flowers. Okay, there is a difference between a set and a list. In a list can contain an duplicate element. The element can happen multiple times in a list, but a set contains only one time. An element in a set contains only one time, right? A set cannot contain duplicate elements, but a list contains duplicate elements. Okay, the concept of array has come from the concept of list. A list is a collection of similar items. Okay, so we will understand array in depth later. So whenever we see this square bracket, then for now remember that this is an array. An array start with index 0. I'm sorry. So in our computer memory, variable takes place, wherever we discuss this, whenever we discuss variable, a variable takes place wherever it gets an empty space in the memory. Okay, so if you have 100 variables in a program, that 100 variables may stay in 100 places. Those places may be together or anywhere in computer memory. So if you have items or data in different places, it will be difficult to, but it will be time consuming, right, to gather those data. But it will be easier and it will be faster if you have all data in a nearby place, right, and around in a systematic way, right? So we ensure that by array. So array, whenever we declare an array, what happens? The array takes consecutive memory locations. And all arrays, for instance, here takes place, an array is a name. For instance, for this array, if we say it has a name, whatever name I give for this array, if I say x is my name, okay? So this is, for instance, x has 10 items. You see that 10, it has 10 items, 10 cells. Okay, it can hold 10 items, and that first index or is start with 0. In most of the modern programming languages, all arrays start with index 0. So in an array of 10, so that means it's say x, it has x starting with 0, that 0 element. Okay, so that place will be here, and the last one will be x9. There is no x10 element. So 0 to 9 is 10, right? So all indices start in the modern languages that we discuss. It starts index with 0 and it ends the length minus 1. The last index value is length minus 1. So in our natural language, right, like we start counting from 1, right? If I ask you to count 10 things, so they will say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? But if someone starts with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, that is also 10, right? So mathematicians, they invented numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 first. And then later they invented 0. If you see the history of maybe Alchemy, his name, or something, there is a Muslim mathematician, he invented 0. 0 has no value, but it has a lot of contribution, right? Lot of use. So is a 0 an even number or odd number? It's neither, but it considers as even. Because in this number, beside the right side of any number, then the number becomes even, right? So 0 is neither even or odd, but it is considered as an even number. Okay? So for now it is remembered that an array we will, for instance, hello in this program, this ARGS is an array, and here over here we are making another array, for instance name is ARR. So this is a typical declaration of an array. So this type is character and it can hold 4 characters. So the characters are, indices are from 0 to 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so then if we run this program, so then it will print JAVA. So there is no end print ln, so it will print JAVA all in one line. So go and practice this program, okay? So this is very simple program, please practice this. This will be same almost in all languages. So you can practice this program, okay? So there is a substantial difference, okay, in declaration array in C++, C# and Java. Okay, look at this is Java format. Okay, how do we declare an array? Actually this is the symbol of array. Okay, so this is actually part of type. So in some books or text you will see that there is a space in between. It works, it's good. But sometimes you may see that it is over here with that. This is good. Okay, but usually it goes with the character type. Okay, so please practice this. So this is in C Java format and same program in C#. Okay, almost same the declaration for one-dimensional array, but in C++ it is completely different. So in C++ we will say just character ARR3. 3 is the size over here. So here is the declaration, but here is the assignment. So in the assignment there is no AR3 in value. So you cannot say 3 with something, maybe minus or something. This statement will give you an error. This will make an error because in this array of 3 elements there is no 4th element. This is the address of 4th element. So 0 to 3 is 4th, right? So there is no element. So it will show you type out of index bound error. Okay, so I like everybody to practice this, and especially in modern programming languages like C#, C++, and also maybe in modern C++, there are some built-in methods. There are some built-in methods to work with string. What is a string? Actually a string is a one-dimensional array of character type array. Okay, so in our first day we discuss our hello world program. So do you remember that? We discuss our hello world program. Do you remember that? Hello world program like this one, right? Okay, so this is my hello world program. So here hello world HW is also a string. You see, this is a one-dimensional, this is a list of characters, right? List of characters. So I see HW, this is called a string. So here in this slide, please go through these slides. And for string operation, there are some existing or built-in methods. For instance, like length of the string, okay, so like equals method, index of, substring, these are the some built-in methods, okay, that are built in. But since string is very frequently used data type, so all programs work with same data set. Whenever you see an application, that is the menu bar, file, edit, view, insert, menu bar, right? Top level. This is all these file, edit, these are string. So almost there are a lot of string operations is needed for any program. Okay, so you need to be master in using string. Okay, so for instance, in this program, if I come here, okay, for now, so if I just copy and paste over here, I'm sorry, what is the mistake? Maybe I copied and pasted from somewhere. Okay, I like you, so I don't have time, so I need to go. I like you to practice this program. Okay, like, so string length method is, I tell you that how many characters, what is the length of this array. Okay, so this program please practice in Java and also in C# and also in C++. So C++ people have a different something different than Java and C#. Okay, so I like everybody to practice this program. This only, there are two programs over here, right? These slides in all three languages. Okay, but for now remember this. Okay, remember some of this method. But you see that there are some differences. For instance, the length in C# used as an attribute, so it has length. But you see that in Java it will be length method. L is in lowercase and this is the method. But same thing in C#, length is an attribute, so only is length, L is in uppercase. And like equals, E is in uppercase, equals, that it checks whether this given string is equal to this string or not. So here my string equal to what's up dog, right? And then it is comparing with hello. Are these two equal? No, so it will give us a false value, Boolean value. So index of, it says the index of S, that means the first appearance of S. Where is the position of first appearance in S? For instance, this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and this is 4, right? So the first appearance index of S equal to 4. If there are multiple S's over here, for instance like this, it will get the first appearance. So first time whatever it appears, this. Okay, so please practice this. Okay, anyone has any questions so far? Okay, so far I gave you about 12 programs to practice. Okay, these are the homework. You don't need to turn it to me, but you need to turn this into yourself. If you practice about the 12 programs I assigned you so far from module 1 and 2, then we are in a good shape. From this lecture or next lecture, I will ask you to write some program. Okay, please bring your laptop with you if you have one. Okay, I will give you some quick small program to practice to write code. Okay, If you have a laptop, then bring it with you, okay? Anyone has any other question so far? Okay, so I'm late, but a few minutes, or maybe 30 minutes late, but today I will start selection statement. But by the way, again, if we practice the 12 program, maybe I gave you so far, then we should be a good shape to start. Like for instance, I told you that my goal is to teach you how to walk confidently on the field of programming, how to walk. But if you practice these 10 programs, the 12 programs I gave you, then I believe that you are in a good shape to stand on a field. Okay? First we need to learn how to stand, right? We teach our baby how to stand themselves, right? Then we teach how to walk step by step, one step, two steps, right? Okay, so then that means if you understand and practice those 12 programs, then you are in good shape to stand confidently. Now we will learn day by day how to start walking. Okay? So let us start the selection statement. So I think if you understand the start of module 1 and 2 and practice, then this module will be an easier module. It will not be a big deal. Okay, if they say that 56 slides, it will be just an hour for me or for you to understand these 56 slides. Okay, the selection statement is that we know that so maybe you have noticed that if unless stated otherwise, our program statements are executed one after another starting from the beginning, from the main method, right? Our program statement started execution one after another starting from the main method. It executes this statement, then it goes to this statement, it executes this statement, and it goes this and it goes this and this way from top to down. But sometime in order to solve our problem, we may need to skip one statement, okay, or we may need to jump from one place to another place, or we may need to take decision whether I will execute this statement or not. Maybe the execution of this statement may depend on a previous statement, right? So that is the concept of selection, selecting a statement. Okay, so that means if we want to skip some statement or jump on one place to another place, or if we decide whether we will execute a statement or not, then that is called selection. There is another thing also, repetition. Sometimes we will need to execute a statement multiple times. That is called repetition. We will discuss that in our next module. Okay, but this is the foundation for selection. So selections, in order to execute selection statement, there are actually four techniques. So first of all is called if, else, if and if, else, if. Actually these if, else and if, else, if, this is actually one. Okay, and that actually two is this actually these two, 7 and 8 is the expanded version of if. Okay, and the switch statement. These are pretty simple if you understand the previous steps. Okay, so control flow, that means the programs executed one by one after another. So you see the from left to right. So this is the diagram, flowchart diagram. So did you break anything? So if you say yes, then maybe it will go here, and then it will ask another question. If you say yes, then it will go there here, and if you say no, then it will go here. For instance, if you break something, then if you broke something, then maybe you can ask for a penalty or compensation. So this is the simple thing that you understand. So all selection statement, for instance here, whenever you see this is like a diamond type shape, remember that it gives is either true or false result, either yes or no. If it says the result is yes, that means true, and that if it is false, then result is no. Okay, so all diamonds, wherever you see the diamonds place in our shape, then you will say that there will be a question over here. and that question will give you only true or false answer, yes or no. Okay, either if it is yes then it's true, if it is false then no, nothing else, no matter how large or big the statement over here, okay, or how small it is. Okay, so the boolean value, it will give a boolean value. Okay, so the first one is the selection statement, so that we discussed that there are 4, actually there is 2. So these 2, if else and if else if, these are the expanded version of if. So as it says, the if is, okay, in order to do the executing of this question, we usually use some operators, like greater than, we know that greater than. So if I say is 5 greater than 10, no, right? So the result will, in our human language, the result will give us no, right? But in computer language, the result will give us false. Result will give boolean value, right? Boolean value has true or false, only true or false, right? True is equivalent to yes and false is equivalent to no. Understand that? We understand that. Okay, and there are sometimes we know that equal sign, this is called equals, and if you say one equal, that is called assignment operator. We understand earlier, right? So this is not and this is not equal, this is greater than or equal and less than or equal. So do not be misconfused about the equal sign and double equal. This double equals means equals, logical equals, okay, and the one equal sign is called assignment operator. Okay, so if you say 5 is 5 greater than 3, we will get true result, right? If say 5 6 not equal to 6, we will get false, right? We know that 6 equal to 6, right? So then it will give us false result. So whenever you say true is equal to 4 less or equal to 2, so then what will say? Yeah, this part will be executed first and then it will give us a false result, right? 4 is not less or equal to 2, right? It will give a false result. So is true equal false? No. So the result will give us false. In human language we will say yes or no, and then computer language we will get true or false, right? Just remember this is simple. So if we say not false, that means true, right? Is not true, that means false. Okay, these are pretty simple. So these are the equals method. In Java we use equals, is in lowercase. So in Java all of the methods start with lowercase letter, but in C# start with an uppercase letter. Okay, but in C++ we have compare string. Okay, so there is a difference between. Okay, so the logical operators, there are some, you know, so the logic gate. Have you heard the logic gate? If there is an engineering student over here, logic circuit. Okay, so logic gate. So there are 3 basic logic gates. For instance, one is called, I'm sorry. So okay, so if I have a battery over here, okay, this is my battery, and if I have my switch A over here, and I have my light over here, and if I have another switch B over here and then light over here, so he said this is the logical OR operation, OR circuit. Okay, parallel circuit. Okay, we know that this is parallel circuit, right? So if I have battery over here, so it means battery. Okay, and if I have light over here, okay, so this light will turn on if either this switch A or B or both is on, right? So this is why it is the table is that if either is true, this is OR, this one is the OR. Okay, if either one, A or B or both, is true, then my result will be true. Okay, so this is actually here for this one. And if I have a circuit like this, my battery over here, okay, and I have a switch A over here, and I have another switch B over here, and I have my light over here, okay, this battery BATTERY, okay, and this A and B switch over here. So then will I get my light 1 if either A or B is off? No, right? Both A and B needs to be, so this is AND, logical AND operation. Okay, so this is called series circuit, right? This is a parallel circuit and this is a series circuit, right? If you understand physics, in physics you should understand. So this is the AND operation. In order to get true in an AND operation, both needs to be true. Both needs to be true. Okay, but for OR operation, either one needs to be true. Okay, so if we understand this concept, then we should understand the concept of logical operations. Okay, so there are logical operations. So if you say, so that means if you see that, so all if, for instance, we are discussing with if, right? So if works with a logical expression, this is the logical expression. If the expression is in our natural language, if it is true, then we execute the statement in between. So then is required only for pseudocode format. This is pseudocode format. But in programming, actual programming language, in most of the languages do not require to use then. Some languages require then, okay, but not C++, Java, C# do not require then. Then is implicit. Okay, for instance, you will okay. True. Okay, this should come to the previous slide actually. So you see that in order to execute, so this is another slide to higher precedence and lower precedence and associativity. So there are some operators that has higher precedence than other operators. So you see that the arithmetic operator that higher precedence that are executed fast than the logical operators. So you see the arithmetic operation has higher precedence that are executed fast, then the comparison operators have middle precedence, and the logical operators they have lower precedence, okay, that are executed fast. Okay, so this go to the slides. So for instance, this is the you can discuss this is the simple thing. I am going to discuss if. Okay, I have a few minutes, 15 minutes, I need to cover many slides. So if is very simple. So if it will start with if keyword, and then after that there will be a condition within a parenthesis, and if the condition gives you a true value, then it will execute the statement in its body. The body ends with and if. This is pseudocode format. It's very simple, okay, and there is nothing complicated. So this condition will be either true or false, nothing else. So if it is true, then it will execute this statement. If it is false, then it will skip this statement. Understand? So nothing else, okay? So here I like you to practice this program. Okay, so then this program says you will get a temperature in Celsius and you will convert in Fahrenheit. Okay, if your temperature Fahrenheit is greater than 90, you say very hot, right? Otherwise say nothing, skip, just be silent. Okay, so in pseudocode format we need to then, and but in actual program, we do not need to use to then. Like for instance, this is code in C# and C++. Okay, so Okay, so this is the program you read. That means when we are writing read over here. So read means you are taking this output from keyboard, right? Previous week I asked you to practice some program, how to input using keyboard. So this is the program. So if you say if Fahrenheit, you are converting, you are taking an integer value in Celsius and you are converting to Fahrenheit. So what is the formula to convert an integer to a Fahrenheit? Anybody remember this? Formula is actually C by 5 equal to F minus 32 by 9. This is the formula. You can convert this, okay? So then if you see that there is no then needed. Okay, so if there is only one statement associated with if, then no parenthesis, no curly brace is needed. But if there are more than one statement, then we need a curly brace. Okay, this is in pseudocode format and this is in C# and Java. Okay. So this program has a little bit another condition. So if the temperature is between 20 to 90, then this will give a pleasant day. Otherwise, if it is lower than 20 or greater than 90, then it will skip it. Okay, I like you to practice this program. Okay, these are very simple program, not anything hard. So if you do not understand, then bring it to our next lecture. Okay, we will discuss this. Okay, then if else. So we discussed that after if there is a condition, right? If the condition is true, then it executes its body, but we did not tell what would happen if the condition is false. If the condition is false, then we need to use another block followed by else, and that is the else. If the condition is false, only one condition will be given with if. Okay, there is no condition with else. Okay, this condition, it will give we understood that it will give either true or false value, right? Nothing else, right? So if it is true, then it will execute this block. And if it is false, then it will execute else block. But if you do not have else, then it will do nothing. But since I have else, so it will do. If it is false, condition is false, then it will do this thing. And then end if. This is pseudocode format. Okay. Anyone has any questions so far? This is straightforward. Okay. And then this is the flow chart. It's very simple. There will be a condition over here. If it is true, then it will execute this block. If it is false, then it will go other blocks, and either way it will come to the next statement. Okay, there the previous problem is redefined with a different way. That so if the condition is greater than 90 degree, then it will be heat warning, and then if it is lower than 90, then there is no extreme heat else. Okay, so just practice this one program and modify this in multiple ways. We have code over here. Okay, so far in our previous program we have seen that we got one condition. We check with one condition with if. Okay, but it is plausible and sometimes it is needed to check with multiple conditions, right? The first condition is given with if, and the subsequent conditions are given with else if. Okay, and no condition is given with else. So in a program there can have only one else. Okay, and then can have multiple else if, and there must be only one if. So within one if, so there may have multiple else if. So each of the else if will give you alternative condition. The first condition will come here, condition 1. The second condition, another condition will go here, and third condition will go here, and something will go here. Okay, all of the condition will go with one condition will go with if else if, and this if else. else has no condition. Okay, this is straightforward. Okay, so there is program. So we have if else if. You see that this is the condition. So it checks the first condition is true, then fine, it will not skip, it will skip the other condition. If the first condition is false, then it will go check for second condition, and if the second condition is true, it will skip for third condition. If the second condition is false, then it will go to third condition, and by this way it will come back to next statement. So here the statement means here is the statement outside of the if. Anyone has any questions so far? So the same program we have here, so with multiple state conditions. Okay, start with the beginning program and then please practice this. Okay, the same thing, if, else, and if condition. Okay, and using the logical operator, we can logical and or operators. So we can use multiple conditions over here with one condition. We can make a complex condition. Okay, so this is the practice. So please practice this. So this is and double ampersand. Okay, that is and. Okay, and or, in order to make it or, in this case we need to give like this, two vertical bar, two pipes. In some languages we write and like this, not in C++, not in Java, not in C#, but like maybe Python. And some languages we need and like to abbreviate it and, but here we need ampersand. This is a logical operator. Okay, so this is the program. So please practice one program actually where we have started from the if, then else if, then if, else if, else if, else if, else. Okay, anyone has any question? Okay, so this is a little bit complicated. Okay, so everybody please give attention for the next 5 minutes. Okay, switch statement. Switch is just a different version of if, else if, else if. If, else if, else if, else. Okay, so this switch is a different version of this. Okay, just different format. It does same thing. Whatever we can do with the if, else if statement, that we can do with the switch statement. But switch is a different format. First of all, let us understand. We need a variable, a switch variable. This is called, based on the value of this variable, we switch to either of these cases or some of these cases. Okay, so this variable must be defined before the switch. Okay, so maybe you can say create variable. You can say better. Say create variable. So we create a variable, right? Or we assign a values, and based on the value we get for this variable, we will either jump to here. If this value match with this case 1, then we will jump over here. If this matches with this value, then we will do this. And if none of these match, then we will go to the default statement. Default is like else. We said else, right? There is nothing match, then say else. But one thing that here in this break, sometime in some languages break is optional, some languages break is required. So break means if you execute this case, then break, that means you say break, that means it will go out of this loop, switch case. So in your test, if you are given a program, some code to trace what will be the output of this program, then be attention whether break is given or not. Okay, it will give a different result if break exists or does not exist. Okay, important thing, please give attention and you will get a test question from this. Okay, sometimes intentionally. Okay, so in Java and C++, we may skip a break. A break can be is optional, but in C# a break is needed. That is the one of the difference. Another difference between Java and language. Okay, C# a break is needed, but in Java and C++ a break sometime optional. Okay. For instance, you see that switch statement, it works only one expression value, right? If value equal to it match, then it will go this. If it match with 2, then it will go this. 3, then it will go this. Okay, so a few things to remember. Okay, first of all, the switch statement is equivalent to if, else, if, right? Okay, and break is needed, or sometimes it is optional. Break works, it jump outside the condition switch. Okay, and in some languages break is optional, some languages break is required, like C#, break is required. Okay, and the default block is the block that is required in some languages, is not required in some languages. In C# it is required. Okay, and default is the else. Okay, so switch statements, for switch statement it works for any integer value, byte, short, int, long, or any character value, and but in model or in any boolean value, the variable, case variable. Okay, the switch variable. And also in modern language it works with string variable, string type. Okay, so let me show you. So the previous program, the same program is redefined with a switch statement. So this is the pseudocode. Okay, everybody please give attention for the next 3 minutes, please. You see that? Do you see that? If you get this type of code in your test, you will be given this type of code and you will be asked to write the output. And first of all, give attention whether there is a break or not is missing. Okay, if break is missing, then you will get a different answer. Okay, and then whatever it says, for instance, you are giving condition, right? So whatever your Fahrenheit temperature, you are dividing by 10, integer division. Here you are given condition, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, like this condition. So if the case is 10, condition is 10, that means you are very hot. Temperature is more than 100 degree, right? Or equal 100 and more than 100. So then it says break. Then it will go, if it is hot, then it will go outside. If break is missing, then still it will check this condition. Because the 100 degree, temperature is 100 degree, right? Then still that is greater than 90 degree, right? It is 100 degree temperature, right? Still it matches another condition, right? It is still greater than 90 degree, right? And still it is greater than 80 degree, right? And still it is greater than 70 degree, right? So if you do not use break, then still it will go to these conditions. Okay, try this program please at home. Please practice this, and sometimes use this break and sometimes skip this break. And practice this in all 3 languages. For instance, here you see the condition variable over here. Based on the condition, sometimes I like you to practice, sometimes give the break or sometimes skip the break, and you will see that output is different. Okay, try to understand what happens if I give break and if you do not give break. This is my homework for today. Okay, this is the maybe 3 programs I gave you, right? So far I gave you how many programs? About maybe 15, right? Until today I gave you 15 programs to practice. If you practice this 15 program, maybe 10 more, 5 or 10 more programs, maybe 10 more programs maximum. In the next 2 weeks we'll discuss. Okay, this week and next week 10 more programs. Then you will be a good start to work. Okay, on the field of programming. If you practice this, but if you do not practice this, really will be behind. Anyone has any question or any opinion? Okay, at this point actually I have nothing for you to do. unless you practice yourself. Okay, unless you help yourself, I have nothing to do. Honestly, I cannot practice for you, right? Can I do? Can I practice for you? Okay. So please practice the programs that are stated in this lecture. So in this lecture, we discuss the selection statement if, else, else if, and switch. Okay. So whatever, if you do not understand anything, so please bring your problem in our next lecture. Okay. So we will discuss this in our next lecture. Okay. Anyone has any question? So from people from online, anyone has any question? So I see Marshall. Okay, I see Jordan, Caleb, Regina, George, Swan. Do you have any question? Tyler. Okay, if you don't have any question, thank you so much, and you have a good day. Give me one second.
So I'm wondering if this was for course 1, this question...
Okay, I will give you the extra credit for this one, bonus. Yeah, I will give one for this one. Today,
And then I do see here this course, I don't understand what it is, if it's just like for us to have the lockdown or like...
Yeah, so you have to do it, so you have to do it before the test. In order to take a test, so into lockdown, that means whenever you take the test, you cannot go to other program.
Okay, but is that an actual quiz, like when like
No.
or this is just for me to actually be able to
If you complete this, then you will download the lockdown browser.
Okay.
You will be able to set up your computer
Okay.
to take the test.
Okay.